Now let us return to the Quranic verses that we stated at the outset concerning David. It states in verse 20 again, "And we strengthened his kingdom, and we gave him wisdom and clear judgment." Well, what kingdom was this, since the Davidic kingdom never existed historically? And that's been proven. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan's ever-increasing success in his messianic mission during the last 43 years in particular proves that this verse has been and continues to be realized in his life. What, are you saying that he has a kingdom that's being strengthened? Well, no doubt, it is nearly impossible for most people to recognize the awesome power that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan executes at the highest levels of divine authority. Why is this? Well, most people are not remotely close to being able to conceive that level in the first place. In addition, they have been influenced by the satanic leaders of this world to judge everything according to appearances. And as the saying goes, appearances can be deceiving. Now, in the Holy Quran, it states, Allah affirming this, "Let not control in the land of those who disbelieve deceive thee. A brief enjoyment, then their abode is hell, and evil is the resting place." When someone allows you to rule, you do not possess the ultimate control. The one who allows you to rule does. And in the supreme wisdom, we have learned that we allowed Yaqub to make the Caucasian people, and we allowed them to rule for a period of time. So this brief enjoyment has lasted approximately 600 years, since the time that Allah permitted the Caucasian people to be released from the confines of Europe in the 1400s through the efforts of Christopher Columbus, so-called discovering the New World. Now, according to Master Fard Muhammad, the brief enjoyment of Yaqub's synagogue of Satan ended in 1914. Since then, through the work of Master Fard Muhammad, we have witnessed the gradual, yet recognizable, disintegration of the Western world into gross confusion and chaos, with their leaders mounting blunders upon blunders to the detriment of those whom they govern. Now, according to the Gospels of the New Testament, the Son of Man who ascends to the throne of God after his crucifixion is given power from the one on the throne, the Father. He's given power to judge the earth. This power is given to him, according to the Gospels, even before his crucifixion occurs. Now, it states in the Gospel of John, "Then answered Jesus and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. For the Father loveth the Son, and sheweth him all things that himself do. And he will shew him or show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. For as the Father raiseth up the dead and quickeneth them, even so the Son quickeneth whom he will. For the Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son." Now, in the previous message, we showed how the Honorable Louis Farrakhan fulfills the lion's share of the actions of that Jesus depicted in the Gospel of John because of his relationship to the Father. In this case, which is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, it further states in this Gospel of John, "And Jesus said, For judgment I am come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which might see be made blind. I think that's rather interesting. We say he comes into the world as a savior. Well, that's part of the saving equation. To make those who once saw blind, and to make those who were blinded able to see. So this is how the Messiah, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, has been and is orchestrating revolutionary thinking among the common people, the masses. The citizenry of nations who were aforetime made blind to the reality of evil, or of the evil of those who govern them, have been gradually awakening, while their wicked leaders are blinded by the incorrect assumption that most of those whom they govern are still blind, which is not the reality. So this dynamic causes revolution to begin bubbling. Now, why is it important to believe and know, or even consider, that the Gospel of John prophesied the work of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan? Well, one reason is that we can learn where we are in the fulfillment of specific prophetic scenes described in this gospel. What do we mean? The messianic prophecies are not written in chronological order. Therefore, the Gospels of the New Testament do not convey precise sequences of events from beginning to the end of each gospel. You're not really reading a story that's sequential, although it may appear to be such. It's not the reality. Hence, the urgency for us is knowing the fulfillment of scenes, especially at the time they are being fulfilled. Well, let us consider this prophetic scene from the Gospel of John, which bears on what we're experiencing at this point. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small courts, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables. And he said unto them that sold doves, Take these things hence, make not my Father's house a house of merchandise. And his disciples remembered that it was written, The zeal of thine house has eaten me up. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, What sign shewest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? Jesus answered and said unto them, Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Then the Jews said, then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? Excuse me. Well, we will briefly parse each of these verses throughout the rest of this message, so we'll have an idea of what is unfolding before our very eyes, whether you believe it or not. Your belief or disbelief does not change the reality that the United States and the Western world have been warned, divinely warned, for 80 plus years, warned of Allah's imminent judgment upon them for their atrocities committed and being committed against his chosen people and against humanity.